Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Ethan Han Plus One podcast, which isn't even plus one anymore. We're just having whoever the fuck on it now. And I've got a very special episode, which I say every episode, but this is a very, very special episode. I have my very first married couple on. Everybody, please meet Marissa and Jered Price. So welcome on board, guys. I'm losing track on what order I'm going to post these, so I'm not going to label what episode this is. But thanks for coming on. This is fun. Are you guys podcast people? Do you listen to podcasts or?
Yeah, I have a couple of real estate investment podcasts I listen to.
Those are pretty. That's serious.
Disney ones.
Disney ones.
Well, I told you that Megan, my sister, started one,
She
so
did
she does
start
Disney
one.
stuff too.
Do you know how many episodes has she?
Not a clue.
Not a clue. Is she gonna get you
I can't
involved?
find them.
Megan, come. I think I followed her her podcast page. Yeah.
Tangled with Magic.
Tangled with Magic. You guys should listen to that. I don't know when she's gonna start posting though. She needs to start marketing and stuff like that, and have you guys on. Because now you guys are on here, so we're going to get some experience going.
Yay.
And everyone, so we had to reschedule this because last Saturday I got a little too busy. So I have a little peace offering for the prices here. Insomnia cookies. Okay, so, all right, we're going to show. Let's get everyone's reaction, all right, on camera. All right, so. Ooh, look at that.
Did they have that limited time one that I told you about? It was the there was a limited time one called Hot Cinnamon Whiskey.
Oh, I did see that. Oh, no, you did mention that. And I remember seeing it, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about alcohol and sweets like that getting mixed. Yeah.
It would have been funny if I didn't tell you about it, and you're like, oh, red sprinkles.
So what we
Incorrect.
can do here, everyone each pick a cookie. The big one's a confetti one. I don't know if you guys want to split that, but there's snickerdoodle, peanut butter, chocolate chip. I actually forget what the other ones are. If you're able to tell. Go crazy, though.
Which one do you want?
I'll take the one in the middle.
Uh-huh.
Up.
Okay.
This one?
I don't know what that one is.
This looks like chocolate chunk.
Chocolate chunk. Okay.
Yeah.
I forget what I told the guy.
I'm going to go stay safe.
He seems stoned. He's like, hey, what do you want? So, okay. All right, great. And I will grab... what the fuck is that?
Take the big boy.
Should I take the big boy? I'm going to take half of the big boy. Confetti. Now, I want everyone... Hang on, you're eating it out? No. Where does this take you? These taste. Oh, shit. Fuck. You guys met at a theater. What was the first show you guys did?
She was the stage manager. It was a Few Good Men.
Oh, but you kind of got into acting in high school?
Yeah.
You would say? Yeah. What was the first show you did? Ever? Like, stayed on stage doing your thing?
You can't take it with you.
Is that a musical show? What was that, play, musical?
It's a play.
Is that play? Cool.
An old play.
And was that something you've always wanted to do, or did someone talk you into it?
No, I wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did Anne of Green Gables.
I've never heard of
Okay, Anne of Green Gables is a really good movie series too. I grew up on that. It's really, really old, but it's also a play.
Yeah.
What was your first experience on the stage and stuff like hopping on stage doing your thing? And was it always been something you've always wanted to do?
No. So
Were you stage manager first and
no.
then okay?
So when I was in grade school, 8th grade, they started a brand new drama program at my elementary school, and a lot of people signed up for it because something to do. But then they found out that we were all like, this is stupid, this is for dorks, so we kind of like all quit. And then when my sister got older and joined drama club, I started helping out the director and kind of being the assistant to the director.
So your sister was kind of like...
She was in it more than I was.
Okay, yeah.
And
were your parents ever into that stuff? Like
no,
not at all. No.
So I started, I was like, oh crap, I think I want to do this now. So I talked to the director, and he was like, "Cool, I'm doing a camp this summer. It's a vocal and acting camp." So I did that. That was my junior year.
Is that free, or no? You have to pay.
No, we had to pay for it.
Yeah.
And my entire high school career, I planned to go to UD for marine biology.
Yeah.
And so I can do this whole super cool program down in Lewis and study marine life.
Mm-hmm.
So after I did this acting camp, I think it was going into my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was going into my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to study music in college now. And my parents were like,
right,
Are
yeah.
you sure?
Sure, yeah.
So they were really nervous. So did that, and then I auditioned for a musical. I didn't get in. The director called me, and he was like, we don't have a place for you right now, but...
Is this all in theaters outside of school and stuff like that? Okay, so, okay. Was this at a theater?
This was at Delaware Children's Theater.
Oh, okay, okay.
He called and said, we don't have a place for you right now, but I'm doing this thing, Delaware Allstate Theater. I'm doing Les Miserables. Come audition for that. So I did, and I got in, and bam, that's how it
Was that a big role you got too?
No, it was just the ensemble. I was in the women's ensemble.
But those environments are usually always welcoming, I noticed.
And ensemble, you sometimes do so much more than lead roles.
Anything, you always do a lot more shit.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more costume changes and stuff like that too. It's a lot more difficult, yeah.
Yeah, so that's how that kind of took off, and
Yeah, those are always fun environments. But for both of you guys, your friends and family, when you guys do acting and stuff, is everyone kind of judgy or oh, what are you guys doing? Or you guys pretty much surround yourself with people that are yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, my entire family is totally all for it.
Sure,
as my parents are 100% supportive of it because they know how much I love it and what it does for me.
Yeah.
It's my outlet. That's why it's killing me that I can't do it right now. And basically.
Yeah, because we were gonna start Street Lamp. Yeah, Street Lamp Productions. We were supposed to do Mamma Mia. I had the pepper roll, which was the native, the native for pretty much all the white people there. What was funny?
The non-Greek role.
Yeah, and I was how mad I was that this COVID shit happened about that, because that was supposed to be my big debut to come back. Because last time I did something like that was only in high school. So because I didn't find any other theaters out there and stuff like that too. But you've been doing Street Lamp too, right? Yeah. Well, how many shows have you done there? This is what was in Addams Family? Oh, forget the character's name.
Lurch.
We have Lurch here, everybody. Which is that's a fun role. That was a fun role to watch him in. Yeah, no lines, so that's easy. He has one. And so kind of go back to you with it. Your family and friends, were people shocked when you wanted to get into acting, or is it always just kind of oh sure, yeah, do it, yeah, or
initially people were shocked. They don't really view me as someone who would be an actor.
Sure, yeah.
We're straight guys, you don't find that very frequently
100%.
in theater.
If
especially
anything,
guys who are super into working out at the same time.
Sure.
So when I met him, I was like, no way.
right, yeah,
I was like,
rare.
This
Rare.
So me and the other
Sure.
girls were always like, oh, hey.
Because sometimes it's it's either just one or the other. Either the guy's either super workouty guy or this. But I will say I was hesitant to even get in, because when I was in elementary school and middle school, I'll be honest, I was like, that's girly shit. Musicals were a guilty pleasure. I didn't tell people I liked musicals. I'd be watching High School Musical 2 in my room, Sharpay shit would come on. I'd be fucking bopping to it. I'd walk out and be like, yeah, Star Wars, man, yeah, all that shit. And then, my Joy, who works with us now, who was on last podcast, I did credit her on the last podcast too. She talked me into it. Also, she talked me into it because she was just she saw my personality. She's like, oh, you'd be great. Just, be dancing as a sailor. And now I have some tap dancing experience, which is fucking weird. They're under my bed. And, I know I can do a British accent. Oh, no, I'm not going to do it now. That was, no. Rough. But yeah, and then I think once you realize, there's a rush. Would you guys agree with me? When you kind of get on stage, there's this rush of oh yeah, I don't know, people are watching, you're getting ready to do this show, and you want to make sure each time is perfect. I feel each show for me is I remember the worst we did it. You know, when you just kind of start improvising stuff because you're having fun with it by the last show. We did it way too much on the Wiz. I don't know if I told you this, but we did the Wiz, because they took that to our school because the Black Wizard of Oz, it was like whatever show. And we were like, oh, of course, yeah, sure, the Wiz. And it was fun. The first, we did 4 shows, and the last show we were like, we thought it would be a smart idea. We're a bunch of we're high schoolers. We don't know any better. We were like, oh, let's just start changing shit up. Like, full lines. Like, not even... And I remember we were just talking about, like, it was rad. We were talking about, like, someone talked about, like, Kool-Aid on, like, as the Scarecrow and stuff like that. And people were laughing, but during the intermission, the director came up.
Yeah, they get real mad.
She was like, what the hell are you guys doing? We're like, we're having fun. It's the last show. She's like, if someone was here... like that owned the rights
from MTI.
Yeah, they would like shut our asses down and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Because you have to go with their thing. Because then now you're just fucking around with their script, and I'm like, I was like, oh, this is show business. I was like,
for
whoa,
real.
yeah.
Yeah. So Milburn did Les Mis a few years ago, and I was the assistant stage manager and the backstage manager for that show, and it was phenomenal. And the director had this really, really good idea. So the lead, he tells the story about his sister and his sister's son died because they were, poor, hungry, and they were sick. So they died. And so the director had this really cool idea to have them as ghosts pop up in important spots in this guy's life.
Okay.
Just kind of like in the background. Well, that's not a thing that happens in the show,
shit.
like at all. So
taking a lot of creative control there. Yeah.
And even at the end when everybody dies.
Yeah.
Only certain people come
Spoiler
back.
alert, by the way.
Oh yes.
Sorry. Everyone dies.
Yeah.
Except for 2. So when everybody comes back to like sing, there's only like 3 of them that actually supposed to come back and sing. Well, she had them, the sister, and that's not a thing either.
Oh, shit.
So we got through the first weekend. And then, midweek.
First weekend, with those changes she did.
No, we got through the first weekend as that planned. Like, we put it on like that.
Okay, yeah.
So then midweek, after that, we got notice that it got reported to MTI, and they said, if you don't make these changes, we're shutting you down the show, and you have to cancel it. So midweek, we had to do a whole bunch of, like... changes to the and like you're not in anymore, you're in, and it was crazy.
That's a
but like
shame.
it's real.
Yeah. I guess someone in the audience at that weekend was watching. It was like, they're doing some changes to your script here. Oh god, yeah. You don't realize how serious of a thing that is. Because I remember there was even a scene in The Wiz where I'm supposed to say like, I'm a real boy, or like I'm a real guy, or something like that. Or no, I'm a real guy, or I'm like talking about I'm talking about how I used to be a real human, and I'm like telling that's the line.
Oh, because you were Tin Man.
I was Tin Man. I'm like supposed to be frozen, and I'm like talking to the Scarecrow, and I remember. In the last show, and I remember hearing my dad crack up in the back because no one expected it. Even the band guy was like laughing. I said something like, "Oh yeah, I used to be a real Filipino Asian boy," or something like that, and the audience cracked up. But that was one of the things she pointed out to me and said, "And you shouldn't have said that." I was like, "Oh, sorry," but the laughter energy was like, you know what? It was worth it. It was worth it. Yeah, it was just like, oh my god, that shit was crazy, but. Yeah, hopefully we can get back to that soon.
I know. Yeah, it's killing me.
Because COVID's fucking killing us. But we are all vaccinated here.
Yep.
Which is good. Have you guys felt any weirdness yet?
Just tightness in my arm from the injection spot.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing for a lot of people to hear. If you don't want to get it, because we talked about this. We know a lot of people, we were hesitant to do it at first. And did you just, because you got it the next day after we were talking about, I was shocked.
No, so, we found out on that Wednesday, and you had to give your answer by 3 p.m.
Which blew my shit.
And they were doing it Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
And I was just like, we have 5 hours to make a decision here. Yeah, seriously. And it was just like crazy, crazy, crazy. And we're like, I don't think we can do it.
Yeah.
But,
were you hesitant too?
Not really.
No, not really. You were just kind of okay.
I saw the science. I saw everything. I read a lot of scientific journals.
Sure, yeah. We'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, like I did my own research for the concerns that I had, and I talking out loud to people about them who are kind of like in the same place as me.
Yeah.
Helped a lot.
100% helps.
Totally helped a lot. Like instead of just like reading stuff online, not social media stuff online.
Yeah.
Like Googling.
Social media, if anything, keeps trying to scare people out of it. my mom saw a video on Facebook of a lady, the nurse getting it and passing out. And she just passed out. That was it. Well, it was granted, maybe a needle going into someone will make them pass out because they're that scared.
Yeah.
The caption said, "Woman dies because of vaccination shot." And then it cuts after she passes out, which of course that's edited in a caption. And I told my mom, let's do a little more research. We go on YouTube. The woman just fucking passed out. There was a few minutes later.
She probably didn't eat that day because she was so nervous.
That too. We met a guy at the place where we were doing the vaccines, and I told you this. Jered, this guy said he was waiting for the 15 minutes, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" He's like, "I couldn't sleep for 3 days." This man said he couldn't sleep for 3 days because of this. He was so scared to get this shot.
Oh my
And I was
Lord.
like, really? And he was telling me how he got, I forget what it was called. He got something that you give to babies, like to put on his shoulder. So when it was a weird thing. It's like a patch you put on your shoulder that when they give the shot, you don't feel it as much.
So he had like a local anesthetic put on.
Something like that.
I didn't
But
feel
you don't
it.
even
I
feel
didn't
it. It was so
at all
quick.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, not to judge anyone who is. I was a big bitch about shots before. I was like I would cry right away. But the more like I can donate blood now and not think anything of it. Whatever.
Plus, like when I was getting mine, the nurse manager, she just walks up to me and goes. She didn't even say anything. She just went right ahead and did it.
If anything, it's better if they just don't say anything. Because some people are like, count down for me, count down. Like, no, just do it. Like, for me, I just kept talking to her. And then little do I know she's putting the Band-Aid on. I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And we got a lot of footage of people just being shocked. Like, oh, it's done? Like, it's done.
He was showing me your video footage, and we like slowed it down and stopped it. That neat.
It's actually a lot bigger than I thought.
I don't want to scare anybody.
Oh, well, yeah.
This much needle went into your skin.
I could feel it
Like,
in my bones.
It's stuck in there.
Like, it was big.
Yeah.
I was like,
kudos to the nurses and doctors too that like give that stuff out because how do they know where to put it? I mean, I guess there's some like they go to school for that shit. They can just eyeball it. But what if you hit a bone or go too deep or something like that?
You just aim for a fatty tissue area and
it's just like, oh, this has to be okay.
in your muscle, yeah.
But yeah, I can even donate blood. Like the blood donation needles,
That still scares me. I get really
do you donate
nervous
blood or
for
no?
blood. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Like when I come to work, I do it.
Do you donate blood?
I have not.
Any reason or just
I
it's just
just
whatever?
never have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean that still makes me pretty nervous, just because like losing the thought of like losing so much blood.
Can you look at the bag?
No.
Really? I
No,
stare
I
at
can't.
it.
I can't. Nope.
For some reason,
Nope.
well, it's not like I'm just like fascinated. I'm like, that's in me. I was like, wow, that's blood.
That is no longer in
Yeah.
me.
Like it's just cool. I was just like, yo, because I feel like our internal organ, we never see our shit inside. I'm just like, let me gander at my blood for a little bit. That's some good looking blood.
Yeah.
That's gonna be given to someone. Maybe they'll start morphing into me or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking the other day, people giving the reasons why you get the vaccine and you write them down and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the good.
Oh yeah, damn it! I want to say to everyone, I am so mad because I was going through things in my head because they at the place we would have a sign that says I got the COVID-19 vaccine because and then a reason, and I was trying to think of reasons. I'm like maybe something cool, Star Wars, something funny, and the Mandalorian is out and the motto is this is the way, and freaking Jered here used that, and I'm like that is so good because I got the COVID-19 vaccine because this is the way. I'm like fuck, that's so good. But yeah, he's.
Yeah, so when thinking about all the people and their reasons why, and some people are saying, well, the only reason that I'm getting it is because of this, or this. And I want to be like, I don't care. It's better that you have a only because reason than not getting it at all.
Yeah.
Like I literally don't care your reason. You got it. That's the only important thing.
Yeah. Seriously.
Like, stop being like nosy, like a nose in the air. Like, I'm only getting it because, well,
kind of like, about it, right?
Like I have this really, really good reason to get it, and that's the only reason I'm gonna get it. Like, I don't give a shit. You're getting it. That's all that matters.
And if anything, people just had some random ass reasons for getting it. Like a few of them, like one lady I saw, she said, because my boss said I could go to Miami if I got the vaccine and stuff like that. I'm just like, I mean, everyone has a reason. It's like, whatever, and I think if you, I'm not saying anyone, if you don't want to get it, fine with me. Like, I don't care. I think what blows my mind is I've heard people say, start getting mad at people that want to get it, being like, oh, why are you getting it? Because of this, that. Like, how about, like, you just let people do their thing and stuff like that? A lot of people have been very judgmental lately about people getting it. No, we're okay. We're all, you guys aren't cold, right?
I'm good.
It's funny, we heard him. Yeah, we're all good.
You guys going back
I'm
there?
surprised. You know, he on one of the podcasts, he walked in full like Mandalorian armor that he's been working on.
Oh, nice.
And I'm just like, he was like, "Get me on camera real quick."
Is that your dad?
Yeah, it was my dad. Yeah,
He's a big nerd like you.
yeah, big. Oh, that's where I get it from. Yeah, let's talk. Oh, okay. Let's talk the wedding, guys.
Okay.
Let's talk about the wedding. So I got to record the wedding. Thank you for trusting me with that, by the way. Hopefully they have a physical copy now, and it is going to be the start of hopefully something. My aunt actually came up, and she said some of her friends that went to her were looking for someone to record a wedding.
Nice.
And then because I sent her a copy because like my aunt had a wedding at the same church you guys did. So I sent her a copy just being like, hey, my friends got married here, and it's the same church you did. So check this out real quick. And then she said, she actually referred my name, and now I think the people are going to get in contact with me.
Cool.
Which
That's
is
awesome.
fun.
Yeah. Connections.
A nice little side gig
Yeah.
now. Yeah. And so what's it feel like being a newlywed couple? Which you guys have been together 6 years.
It'll be
4.
4 years.
4 years.
On Valentine's Day.
4 years on Valentine's Day. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what were the emotions going through wedding day? What were the emotions?
Holy
Did you
shit!
were able to sleep?
I can't believe we actually made it. That's what it was.
Yeah, and you know what? During COVID
Like,
too, you
holy
know.
fuck.
Yeah, a lot. And I don't want people to think like, oh, who are listening. Oh, they had a wedding during COVID. It was you guys understand.
Yeah,
Very
it was
minimal.
hard.
Very well
it was
done.
Hard.
It was hard. I think hard, but I think it came out perfectly for a COVID wedding.
Yeah.
Socially distant, people wore masks, and it was just immediate family, plus
And the-
photographer and Asian
and the-
videographer. Yeah.
And the
dad.
bridal parties.
Yeah, and an Asian dad up front saying some words. Which, hang on, I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I think your dad came up to me, or I think,
Yeah, my dad did. He was like, I just got a call.
From who? From who?
It was from my aunt.
Was she mad? Or
No,
she was just trying to like
She was
inform
like, somebody's talking.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he's talking in his native language, but we can't understand him. She wasn't being
no,
rude.
sure, yeah.
But like, yeah.
Oh, he was.
She was like, "Can they just
Speaking
tell him
Filipino
that we can hear him?"
So to give everyone a little backstory here, again, I helped film the wedding, and I needed an extra hand for the live stream because I don't want to just leave it up there by itself. So I asked
Especially if it had fallen over.
Yeah, that too. Thank God he was there for that. So I asked my dad to hop on. It did. So which is why. So my dad was watching a live stream on this balcony for their wedding, and then I'm like going around still like I think we were still waiting on you, and then I see your dad, Jered's dad, comes up to me. Hey, who's up there? I'm not her. I was like, my dad, and he was like, you should talk. He said something like, you should talk to him because I think he's using some language. And I'm like, in a church? I was like, here we go. So I like, first off, like, there's a lot of wrong things. I ran up and I'm like whispering because I'm like, oh, these people are going to be able to hear us like having this conversation. I'm like, come here. He's like, what? I'm like, they can hear you. He was shocked. He was like, they can? I was like, yes, they can. There's like 25 people on that live stream. And I was like, I think you cussed. He's like, really? It fell. Because in the live stream, you see it fall.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
my dad's like, shit.
Oh.
I need to find the clip and send it to you again. But like, yeah, literally I think it was, but I think it fell because I think he knocked it over with his foot.
Oh.
And it fell over. And again, all you hear is, shit. And I'm assuming after that's when your dad got that text.
Yeah.
But it went really well.
It did.
And
Yep.
then,
It was super fun.
I was beat though. I'm telling you now. I think a learning experience
Well, we
for me.
started like 50 minutes late.
Why though?
Can we talk about that? Like that fun little story?
So
yeah.
So all the girls were getting ready at my parents' house. That's where I was.
Yeah.
That's where the limo was picking us up, and we weren't sure where to have Dylan.
Okay. Oh.
So Dylan needed
Let's have
to
Dylan
take,
on the podcast.
Yeah, and Dylan needed to take his nap.
Yeah.
So he wasn't able to.
Again, this is morning of
yes.
the wedding. Okay.
Yeah. So my brother Thomas, Dylan's father,
Mm-hmm.
needed to stay with Dylan and couldn't go hang out with the guys.
Okay.
So once Dylan got up from his nap, Chelsea, my sister-in-law, was at my house, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
my parents' house. So Thomas brought Dylan over to my parents' house and like got him changed there.
Mm-hmm.
So he was all running all over the place. I had to change his clothes
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
And so by the time we were leaving, it's utter mayhem. It's raining.
Yeah. The rain. Yeah.
You had to remember to bring certain things because we weren't all staying at like a hotel.
Yeah.
Like a normal wedding afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't be already there. And then we were going back to our home so I had to like bring certain things, and it was just like it was nuts, and I couldn't remember anything, and I barely ate anything. I only ate a half a cheese.
Yeah, I
stick
remember
and some
someone
crackers.
gave me a Belvita bar to give to you. I forget who, but someone, I think it was Megan. I don't know. Someone.
Yeah, it might have been Kate actually.
Yeah.
So the rings were up in my room because the photographer was like taking like fancy pictures with them.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, put them back in the boxes, and we gave them to my to someone. Bring these downstairs. Give them to Thomas. So Thomas and Dylan were hanging out in the family room, and you put them right there on the table next to like everything else.
And this is the house where? Where's
my
this
parents'
house?
house.
Your parents' house. Okay.
Yeah.
It was your parents' house.
So we're all like leaving, and like people are running inside and outside. We're all yelling, "Don't forget this! Well, don't forget that! Well, it's raining! Well, now I'm wet!" And blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so
and the rings are sitting there.
Yep, they're just on the kitchen table. And so Thomas, Chelsea, and Dylan are in their car driving to the church, and they're in front of us. And actually, now President Joe Biden was in town.
Yeah.
So he
at the time president-elect.
yeah. So there was a little bit of traffic happening. So they called us while we're in the limo, and we're like, so there's some traffic. We're going to be a little bit behind. But also, we forgot the rings at the house. So.
But hang on. So you found out while you were there. It wasn't when you guys parked in front of the church.
No,
right?
it was driving on the way.
On the way there. How close were you to the church when they? Like, were you guys driving on 95?
15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
We were on.
But that's still like the last thing you want to hear.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
my parents were like, "What?"
Yeah.
Oh my
Who was on the phone? Did Tom say it? Tom was like,
No,
"Hey."
he was driving. Chelsea was called my sister, so
Yeah.
they were talking, and I'm just sitting there like,
Yeah.
"All right,
Yeah.
I'm cold."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Whatever." Like, literally everything that we went through. Whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's literally gonna happen, and
It's a good story though. And then he had to drive
so
back.
they
I saw
drove
him
back.
rushing. I remember he was rushed when he
Yeah,
pulled
they
up,
were.
and your dad was even like, "Relax."
Right,
Because
right,
Tom
right.
looked stressed, and
Yeah,
I felt bad.
They
I
were,
was
they
like,
were
"Oh."
pretty upset, but
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's totally behind us. Like, it
For
happened.
sure. It's if anything, and now it's just a funny story
right.
now,
and
right? Yeah.
and so I'm unpacking my bags like a couple of days later, and I
Yeah.
remember I had with me in the limo, there's like these cute little emergency kits that like people make for brides and bridesmaids, and they're in this little glittery pouch, and I'm going through it, and I pulled out one thing.
They keep those in the limo?
No. It was given to me, so
Oh,
we brought
okay.
it with me. It has like thread and needles, and for
Smart.
yeah.
Okay, sure.
It had like 55 different things in this little nut. And I
Mm-hmm.
was pulling everything out, and I pulled out. So I had this with me.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pack and said emergency backup rings.
Oh, really?
And I was like, damn it.
"Oh shit!"
And there's like bent
It's just
pieces
whatever,
of tin.
it's something to use just in
Yes.
case they're
Yes.
not there. for
Yes.
the thing. Oh shit.
Yep. So I was like, oh.
And again, you guys wouldn't have been opposed to using them. Let's say you did know about it, right? Let's say Tom called you in the limo at that time, and then you're like, "Oh, we have these backup ones. Fine, let's just go."
Yeah.
It would have been
It would have been totally fine.
Sure,
And
yeah.
like, my dad was telling me,
Oh, man.
like the bond and the commitment is
It's not
The
about
actual-
the rings,
the actual
it's about the
s-
words.
right. The
Yeah.
actual being married part. The ring doesn't necessarily mean that you're married. It's
Yeah.
not. That's not the thing.
It's
the words of
the
commitment,
words of
your
commitment,
vows
sure.
that say that you're married.
Yeah.
So we technically could have.
Because technically
about
anyone
it,
can get married anywhere. You could technically just, as long as you say the things and then
but, right.
someone
And the person
yeah.
who's married to you legally has a certificate that can
yeah.
marry you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, it's not really about the words. It's more about the signature.
Your signature on a piece of paper. Yep.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, so that was that.
and also, and then moving forward, you went to honeymoon in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So
We're wearing our
which was-
Jamaica shirts right now.
Oh, you are?
You can't see them because they're under the 7 layers. But
How was Jamaica? Like, take I don't know, like take us through what the adventures you went through there.
Well, it was 75 to 80 degrees the entire week.
Oh wow.
Actually, I take that back. It dipped down to 72 one day when it was raining and extremely windy.
Yeah.
And all of the locals were bundled up, wearing pants.
Oh
long
shit! Really?
sleeves.
That's because that's
yeah.
cold to them.
And
yeah.
Jered's like, this is great.
Yeah. It's almost funny because when my relatives from the Philippines come over, again, like 69 degrees, 70 degrees. My like straight up, my uncle was like in a winter jacket and like a snow beanie. I was like, "What is wrong with you?" He's like, "It's cold because it gets like 100 degrees over there, so that's what the body's more used to." But how long was the flight to get to Jamaica?
Well, we had a layover. In
Oh, really?
Miami, right? Yeah.
Oh,
So it was what, 3 hours to Miami and then 2 hours to Jamaica.
Not even. It was much shorter.
and was the flight all right? COVID wise.
Our flight to Miami was 100% capacity, so that was
Yikes.
high anxiety.
Yeah.
Yikes!
Yeah.
Everyone was
We
wearing their
double-
mask, right? I mean, I'm sure they're gonna kick someone out if they're not wearing it.
And we double masked. Like I brought like wipes in my bag.
Yeah.
Like I wiped down the tray, the armrest. I wiped down the seatbelt. And when you walked in, they gave you a little like Ziploc bag with a mini water,
Nice.
a pack of cookies or crackers, and an alcohol wipe.
Because I guess because now they can't walk around and hand shit out. They're just gonna give it to you prepackaged. That's pretty smart.
Well, on the last flight that we had, they were handing out drinks on the last flight,
Yeah. But
which was weird because that was the only one out of the 4.
What was the airline?
It was
American.
American, all 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. But
yeah.
when we were in the Jamaica airport, Montego Bay Airport, coming home, we were waiting for the flight. We did Montego Bay to North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, and then Charlotte to Philly.
Okay.
So we were sitting there in the Montego Bay Airport. We double masked on the flights.
I can't imagine
4
what it's like
flights.
flying right now. Because even when we were coming from in the beginning of the COVID, which we were in LA, and then
yeah.
I think literally the transition of normal
Of
life to
quarantine,
mask.
yeah.
Because on the way back we had like these weird, awkward looking masks. And it was just, you see probably 20% of the airport wearing masks now. And if you're wearing a mask, people are looking at this time, people are looking at you like, oh, you have it right now. And also we're Asian, so we didn't help it either.
And didn't you have a cold coming back too? And they were going around taking temperatures.
I had a little bit something. But
weren't they going around taking temperatures and you like hid
no,
in your
this was different. As a little quick side story, I was in the Philippines. Well, no, this is beginning of 2019, so way before BC. And there was a weird thing. If this was during COVID, I probably would have been stuck in Japan, like either killed by now. I would have been shot in the head in Japan or something. I remember I got off. A quick little side story. I remember on the way back, we were leaving from the Philippines. We had to stop in Japan, and I was sick as a dog, getting off this plane. And like if anything, I probably had like a pre-COVID experience, if anything like that. But I remember in Japan they do this. I wonder what they're like now. If they were like this before COVID. I got off the plane. I was like super sick, and there's like this short Asian woman in a suit, like a quarantine suit, scanning people their temperature. And I remember asking my dad, I was like, wonder what that is. He's like, oh, I think if they're sick, like you have to like stay here in Japan or something. I was like, what? And I am like sneezing, like runny nose. And I remember I went in the bathroom because there's a bathroom before I run into her. I'm like, wash my face. I'm like, you got this, Ethan. You're not staying in fucking Japan. This bitch is not staying you here. I washed my face, I fixed my hair, and I looked healthy as possible. Because she was just scanning random people walking by her, which was super weird. And we did see her walk 2 people away. I'm like, what? And then you hear like a muffled gunshot or something like that. I don't know.
Umbrella Corps.
Yeah, something shit like that. But luckily, I walked past her and she did not scan me, and I brought some sickness here to America. So I achieved it. But no, yeah. So yeah, in the beginning, like literally, we were in the transition, and it was really stressful just being in the transition of COVID. So flying right now would stress me out.
At work, people were very concerned about you coming back.
They were,
and even at rehearsal, I don't think people at rehearsal when we were doing the homemade, they didn't know. Only I knew, and I was like, Mom. I told my parents, I was like, Ethan's my dance partner.
Yeah.
What should I do?
Yeah.
And like we still went forward, and like we did our dances and stuff, and. But like a couple days,
I was kind of like because COVID, it was like serious, but it still hasn't hit us yet.
Right.
It was just kind of like, what are the chances? A UD professor has it, whatever.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the professor has it. It won't spread.
People were so concerned about you at work.
And again, not to name names.
Just like, whatever, I'm fine, whatever, and you were fine, and he was like, suck it.
Not even names. I didn't even think maybe one person even they put their 2 weeks in while I was in LA. I think they even left earlier because they were so scared of me. And then, and when I heard that, I was like, oh no, like. And then this is also when testing wasn't normal yet, which is sucks that it's normalized now. You know, oh yeah, get tested. But people were telling me, oh, you should get tested. And I'm like, no, I don't want to get tested because I don't know what is this testing thing. I'm gonna get put in a fucking bubble or some shit. And I remember I didn't. I really should have gotten tested because they were providing them at the riverfront at the time, but I didn't. I was just like, I'll be fine. But lo and behold, October I had it. So
Yeah.
yeah. But again, so back to the Jamaica thing. While you guys are there honeymooning, did COVID you think get in the way of it, or you guys enjoyed it to the full extent?
We did. But we did wear our masks.
Oh, whoa.
Sorry. We wore our mask like 80% of the time.
Okay.
And like we were like the only two that
Was
wore
there a
them.
lot of people? It probably wasn't packed.
It was probably like 15 to 20% capacity.
You felt safe. Was there any moment where you're like, ooh?
I wouldn't say felt safe just because we were like the only ones wearing masks other than staff.
Really?
Staff was always wearing a mask.
Yeah.
They were always asking you to clean your hands. But no one was wearing masks.
And then just like beaches, the resorts and stuff like that. That was pretty. You guys got to enjoy that, like.
Oh yeah, and they required like they had you had authorization papers you had to sign before you got on the plane, and you had to have a negative test within 5 days of your the day that you left.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And who did you have to show that to?
You had to bring a
We
copy.
had to
You
show
had
a bunch of people.
Yeah, you had to
Really?
and you showed the front desk before you got on the plane.
This is going to Jamaica though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now I'm curious. What about on the way back? Like coming from Jamaica, did they?
I think they just assumed like, okay, well, you got here, so
you
you
gotta
should
be
be fine.
Yeah. That's so weird. I think now I might be wrong, but
They had temperature checks everywhere as well. I mean,
I will say though, with the temperature checks, I hope those are accurate. You know, because sometimes
it's gonna be very much user error.
That's the thing.
And also, some people that get COVID don't even have their temperature increased.
That's the thing. Because when COVID first started, I was like, always take my temperature. Yes. But, after seeing how, I've known people that have had it and, getting their temperatures checked and that temperature thing doesn't read anything, it's like, is it really helping? Well, what's funny was for our job, I had to, for the flu shots, I had to take everyone's temperatures.
Oh, yeah.
There was probably 1 or 2 people. I remember this Asian woman rolled her window down, and I had to, check her temperature. It's 105. It was like 104, 105.
Did she have like the heat blasting on her forehead or something?
So that too. So I remember instantly I was just like and she saw me too. She saw my reaction. I remember I scanned it because I had a face shield and everything because it's for the flu stuff, and I was just like. And then her, which scared the hell out of her. Yeah. Which I was like, damn, I should have covered that up more. She was like, is everything okay? I was like, 1 second. And then I'm like trembling. I call my manager. I'm like, hey, so 105. And she was like, oh, tell her to pull to the side. And then because we did talk about, we were like, maybe because the sun was on, it was a hot day too. It was a hot day. People were blasting AC in their cars. So I was like, okay, pull to your side. Maybe it's just the heat on your head.
But overall, Jamaica was fantabulous. We did so many fun things.
You guys said, you were telling me.
We went snorkeling.
We did snorkeling
snorkeling.
twice.
You see any crazy fish in the water?
We saw like a school of stingray.
Ooh.
We saw some dories.
Yeah.
It's so funny how people, because honestly, like
blue tangs.
The blue tang, Dories, Nemos.
There's this
Marlins.
There was this other fish called a Bermuda chub. And they were like the size of like my forearm, and they did not hang out towards the bottom. They were very close to the top.
Yeah, we could almost touch them with like our fins.
Yeah, and there was like 10 in a group, and they looked like had like the little small face and like teeth like a piranha.
Yeah.
I got so they were kind of scary, and I like jumped out of the water and I yelled to the dude on the boat and I said, "Are these guys bad?" And they said no. And I said, "Are you sure? Are they gonna bite?" And they said,
"Are these like Jamaican locals too?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man.
Yeah,
they have the accent.
Yes, and
yeah,
they say,
wagwan.
"You're good, man. You're good." No,
they say
Americans.
well, they say "yeah, man."
Do they actually do
all
shut the
time.
fuck up?
And like,
I thought that was
it's
like
not
the
a joke.
Applejack cinnamon thing.
No, it's literally like their go-to phrase.
Get
I know,
the fuck
and like
out.
it's real. Like they
I thought I was
say
being
it.
ignorant by doing that.
No, we got off the plane and like there's people like
Yeah,
helping
man.
each other like to get through like the Jamaican airport, and we
Yeah.
heard it for the first time, and I looked at Jared and I was like, "It's real."
They do exist.
It's like Santa exists. Yeah, yeah.
They do say it.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
and
that
you guys
was
were there for
really
just a
cool.
week, right? It was just a week, right?
8 days. 8 days.
8 days. Okay.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
really nice. And then we
Nice.
sat in the.
And no crazy and that was
that
the
was
new
my
one.
knee. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. No crazy animals or bugs. Bugs are always the biggest
no
thing.
bugs.
Just
Yeah.
house cats everywhere.
House
Really?
cats,
You were
lizards.
I think you were Snapchatting me
and
that.
hermit crabs.
You were
And,
snap.
and the giant toad.
I think that's what you Snapchatted me, like a toad or something.
Oh my god!
And I was like, what is she showing? I was like, what the
It
fuck
was
is
like
that?
half as big as the Insomnia box.
Yeah.
It was like I thought it like at first I was like, oh, it must be like a bunny. I was like, no, they don't have bunnies here. They don't have squirrels here.
And then it was
They-
just sitting there, and we thought it might be like an
oh,
ornament.
Yeah, or like
Oh,
a rock.
Yeah, yeah. But then it was like moving the throat or something like that. Yeah.
Well, we were just like talking, and I kind of like looked at him and looked back, and I was like, I think it moved.
Yeah, it was in a different
Yeah.
spot.
Oh, shit.
So like I walked up and got closer, and I was like, no way.
Those are
And I was
fucking
like,
weird,
it's a
right?
fucking toad.
Dude,
It
yeah.
was this big, and he got really
I got
close.
like that far away from it. Yeah.
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 But it was like fat, and when it hopped away, it was hysterical.
Oh, really?
It was so
Oh, I bet.
funny.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was very cartoony.
Yeah.
Because when you go to other countries, it's just normal to them when they see that shit. To us, it's like, squirrels and rabbits are normal to us.
Yeah.
But because to touch on that, when I went to the Philippines, they have these giant lizards. Like, oh my god! Like it would be like this big, like
Iguanas?
head to tail, not iguanas. So this thing is called a toko, right? And this is the second time I went to the Philippines. I remember we stayed in this resort at my mom's, where she's from, her island. And I kept hearing this thing when I was sleeping in this little resort, like, toko, toko. It makes the fucking, like, it's a Pokemon, it says its name.
It's an onomatopoeia.
Yeah, it was like, toko. And I was just like, what's that, Mom? I was just, a little naive. And she was like, oh, that's a toko. I was like, oh, well, okay. But then she explained what it did. And I was like, what? She's like, do you want to know, like, what this is about? I was like, what is this? And she said, so it's a toko. They're very large lizards. And if it sticks to your skin, when you try to take it off, it peels your skin off. So I was like, instantly I was like, oh, so we're in hell. So this resort is hell. But when I'm sleeping, I'm like, I just kept hearing it. Now I'm scared that it's in the room. Because it was very clear. And I was like, now I'm having visions that's going to land on me when I'm sleeping and then rip my skin off. But nothing like that. But the next morning, I remember we were having breakfast in the resort and stuff like that. And it was black. It's like dark black lizard. Dark black lizard wide on the wall. And it's like next to a picture frame. And then
Inside or outside?
Inside. Inside. It was inside. Which is like, it blows my fucking mind. Like, and the workers are there like it's a pet. Like it's whatever. And then I heard it. While we're eating, I heard, "Toko," and it was really loud because it was right next to us. And then I looked at the guy. I was like, hey, what the hell? And he was like, oh, no, that's, toko, we have a lot of those here. And then, I was like, and then my dad was like, yeah, they eat them.
I don't know.
I was like, no, that's terrifying. And then I went to my mom's relative's house, and she had a picture frame. The picture frame moved. It kept moving. And then I was just curious. This wasn't a toko, but it was something different. I was just like, hey, why is the picture frame moving? And then he's like, oh, you want to see? I was like, I don't know if I want to see. Wait. He's like walking over, takes the picture frame off. Another big, scaly lizard in their living room. This is
Like behind them.
behind the picture frame. And then me and my dad, since we've never seen, my dad's more Americanized. So he was like, he's from the American, like Manila is the capital where he's from in the Philippines. It's like, America, it's like McDonald's everywhere in cities and stuff like that. So to him, this was even shocking. He was like, what the fuck is that? And my mom's like looking at it. She's like, huh. And then, it was kind of near their kitchen too. The thing fucking moved, and it went into their kitchen, and he's like scrambling eggs. My uncle's like scrambling eggs, and he had like a broom. He's scrambling, and he had a broom, and he's like poking it away. And I'm like, this is the most native fucking thing I've ever seen. And me and my dad are like on the edge. We're like, if this thing gets anywhere near us, and then it just went behind another picture frame. And then he's like, it'll stay there for a week or two, and then it'll move again. I was like, what does it eat? And he's like, I don't know. It's just so cool. And when we see a fucking like spider at work, it's like red alert,
Get the Swiffer.
Get the fucking Swiffer. Yeah. Oh, I can't. I don't know.
Do you play airsoft?
Do I play airsoft?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I did.
see the AR right there.
Oh, that's a no. Yeah, that is one. What the heck is it called? It's broken though. We haven't used that in years.
That looks just like the one that I used to have.
Oh yeah, yeah. My dad had that a few years ago, and I just use it for prop now because it looks like a legit gun. I walked around for my first SWAT video. I walked around a fucking neighborhood with that thing.
Oh my god!
And this was when I was still kind of naive about filming. I was just like, I told my one friend who was the only person with common sense in the group. He's like, "Are you sure we should be walking around the neighborhood with that gun?" I was like, "We're fine." And I'm like running around like pew pew pew.
Oh
and then when you look back at the footage, I remember my uncle who was a cop.
Oh my god!
He looked at that because I was like, "Oh, you're gonna love this video. Check it out." And he liked it. But that one scene, when I running around the neighborhood with the gun, he's like, "No one saw you do that, right? Because that's really bad." I was like, "What do you mean? Is it bad?" It was always. What about paintball? Do you ever do paintball?
I've done paintball once at the Northeast Paintball in
Those hurt.
Northeast Maryland.
At least to me, like, what was your experience? Did you like it? Or
Oh, I loved it. It was a lot of fun.
It's fun.
Were you with him?
No. I've done it not with him, but before I have. I remember, like, I think the first time I did it, you had the face mask on, and it was like it's like a grill right here.
Yeah.
Got shot right there.
Oh yeah.
Paint
Out of all
goes
the places,
right in my
it
mouth,
went right through.
and so I'm like, I'm out.
I remember the only time I went, the last game that we were having. We went for one of my brother's friends' birthdays. It was like 5 of us, and we were all like between 23 and 27. So, and we all had pretty good experience, like handling that type of equipment.
Sure, yeah.
And we were playing against a bunch of 10-year-olds saw us, and they saw that we were getting ready to leave. They asked us to play against them.
Oh, shit.
And I remember I hit one of those little 10-year-olds straight in the nuts.
Oh, shit. Damn. Was he bitching too?
No, he just like straight fell over.
Were you aiming for that, or it just happened?
No, I was aiming for his chest, and he stands up.
Oh, fuck. Shit. Did you have to like run over to him and be like,
no.
"What is it?" Just fuck it.
We were in the middle of a game.
You challenged us, kid. Right? Yeah. Oh my god. Do you guys go to the actual gun range? Do you guys do that or no?
Yeah, I've been to the gun range a couple times.
Yeah. I went recently.
I went to the one in Oxford, I think.
TSS?
Yeah.
That's the one me and my dad went to recently, because we just got one recently because we were talking. We were like, we should get a gun just because of the craziness going on in the world. Yeah. We were just like, let's just get one to get one. And then we went, it's funny, we went there, and I remember, it was my first time shooting a gun. First time I shot a gun, I was in, my uncle has a house, he had this house in Virginia that was in the middle of fucking nowhere. Yeah. He had his own acres and stuff like that, and he could just shoot guns all fucking day. No one's gonna question him. And he was like, tell your dad, bring a good pistol over, and then let's just shoot in the backyard. Like, okay. And then he set up this target. I remember I shot it, and you don't think about how fucking loud it is, seriously, because I remember I think I took my things off for a second. He shot the gun and they started ringing right away. I was like, oh shit, yeah, like, damn. But then, we went to TSS. This was recently, and I remember I got paranoid because it's really loud in there. Everyone has pistols. And we were shooting for a while, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun." I was kind of enjoying it, like getting a feel for it, just to practice, just in case an emergency happens, when you do have to use one. And I saw these hillbilly kids walk in, Cabela shirts, and then they had like the glasses on. They're like, "Yeah, man," and then they came in like rifles, and I was like, I am not gonna be here when these fucking things go off. So I looked at my dad. I'm like, let's wrap it up. Use all the ammo, because they're like getting their guns. They're like, yeah, Billy, yeah, and they're like getting they're getting their scopes on, like, hee-haw, man, yeah, America, and like straight like all wearing Cabela's gear. And I'm like, you gotta be. This is the stereotype thing. They're probably looking at me like he's illegal. Like, what the fuck? And
Mexican ale.
What's he doing here? But luckily I told him, like, let's wrap it up, and we got out of there beforehand. And that was I only went there one time. I plan to go back. My dad went back recently, and he told me he was like, yeah, I went there and I wanted to try one-handed. So I know, right? And I'm just like,
did he hold it sideways too?
No. He said for a second he wanted to try it, but he
tried to break your wrist.
That's what I'm saying. And I think he did it, and he said he jolted back a bit. I'm just like, what the hell are you thinking?
It's 2 hands for support.
That's what I'm saying. He said, because he's like, I wanted to feel gangster. He said he was going, and he said he did it for a second. He's like, nah. It's like, no. And I was just like, oh, I don't know if I would do that. But you've never shot a gun, Marissa?
Nope, not for me.
No? Do you want to in the future? No?
Nope.
I want to see her do it.
No, I was going to say, I think it'd be very fascinating to see Marissa shoot a gun.
Oh my God. No, are you kidding me? I'd be like,
what's this?
No, I would be so scared. Like, I feel like I would do one shot and be like, okay, I'm done, bye.
shaking. as the Cabela's cruise next to her. Look at her. Look at her go. She's so scared.
I'm like, yup.
Oh man.
Yes.
But
That's a good way to get over your fear.
the range, and honestly, I will say the range. Besides, the only thing that was scary to me was just hearing the gunshots. I mean, once you put the headphones in, they work. I was like hesitant. I was like, "Are these gonna work?" But you don't hear anything. And then, but I would suggest it.
You feel it though. You don't hear it.
Oh,
But
you do feel it. When I
My
first,
anxiety would be so
when I first walked in, I will
high.
say when I
like
first
every
walked in,
shockwave is just like.
Nope,
seriously,
I don't wanna do that.
when I first walked into the range, honestly, I was flinching the first few
Yeah.
shots.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was.
Oh yeah.
Because and then I was like, oh, don't keep doing it. I'm gonna look like a pussy if I keep doing this. Because I was like standing there, I was like. And then here are these like these hillbilly guys like yeah, and I'm just like cool Ethan, man, these are come on be one of them. But then after like 15 minutes being there, your mind kind of settles with the banging and stuff like that. But when you first walk in, it is kind of like
I admit I probably would cry.
you would cry.
I honestly would cry a little bit.
Yeah,
like afterward, or like I just couldn't take it.
but I mean, okay, growing up, though, was your dad into that? So your dad and brother never went
nothing,
like,
nope.
hey, let's shoot some. I
Nope.
couldn't even picture. I'll be honest. I don't know if I could picture the Julians.
Nope.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing. Yeah, like honestly, yeah. Thank you for tuning into this episode. I have been Ethan Hahn, and this has been Ethan Hahn.
+2. Yay!
All right, woo. Okay.